let me thank you all for coming, and let's thank Miguel Abreu for his unwavering desire to post these. The new issue of Lacanian Ink, slated to appear October 20, has been finished off at the printer. And this is how we've contributed a few dummies for you to read at leisure tonight. They're over there, please. Lacanian Ink 34 calls on delirium as its overall topic. Žižek and Miguel, the actual delirium soars back to its invention. Here, everyone's me, I, is delirious. All about oneself, you can assume that delirium is an amplification of what each one has in him herself, which can be written thus: délire I in French, délire je. Miguel distinguishes the rich deliriums from poor ones. He also differentiates the delirium of hallucination by specifying that delirium is a discourse. An articulated discourse, the elementary phenomena take the value of detaching the primary elements from which the set of the delirious discourse is constructed, developed, elaborated. This logical slant led Clérambault, for example, to distinguish deliriums of passion, among which he emphasized erotomania, which establishes postulates like he loves me, he does not refuse me, she does not say no, she doesn't want what she says she wants, leaving unchanged the actual premise of departure. And something of the organic could be determining the intrusion of an element in the psyche, as it situates a causality of psychosis that is not exactly psychic. The evidence of an organic causality is imposed when nothing can take account of what happens or what one expects. There is a discontinuity, and something absolutely new is introduced in the psyche. In the face of this brute and bizarre fact that emerges, the subject reacts by trying to account for it with delirious explanations and constructions. One can speak of an initial paranoia of every subject at the beginning of an analysis, for example. Something similar is produced so that the interpretation can begin. This is what Lacan calls signifier of transference, which precipitates the emergence of the subject supposed to know. The support of interpretation, in which the relationship to this elementary phenomenon asserts that this signifier is equivalent to the beginning of a delirium. It is when the relation of signifier to signifier is interrupted, when there is a broken chain, an interrupted sentence, that the symbol rejoins the real. But it does not rejoin it under the form of representation. We can look at President Schreber's uninterrupted sentences. Here the signifier does not represent the least part of the real world. It makes an eruption there, that is to say, that a part of the symbolic becomes real. Schreber was successful and highly respected judge until middle age, when the onset of the psychosis occurred. He woke up one morning with the thought that he was a transvestite and the lover of God. They populated through the nerves, which rose to the sky, went through the clouds to meet the descending divine rays. He writes in his memoirs, "Few people have been brought up according to such strict moral principles as I. But as soon as I'm alone with God, if I may so express myself, I must continually, or at least at certain times, strive to give rays the impression of a woman in the height of sexual delight. To achieve this, I have to employ all possible means, and have to strain all my intellectual powers and foremost my imagination. Says Lacan, I quote, "The term which I translate as nerve annexation, and which comes from these messages, illustrates this remark insofar as passion and action between these beings are reduced to those annexed or disannexed nerves. But also insofar as these nerves, just like the divine race with which they are homogeneous, are nothing but the identification of the spoken words they bear, which the voices formulate us. Do not forget that the nature of the race is that they must speak." So, encore in Lacanian Ink 34. Alain Badiou's very personal delirium wants to include Plato in contemporary discourse, to present him to everyone as being absolutely available. I quote, "For the only thing that matters is that thought indeed be the liveliest, most concrete thing in the world." Pierre-Gilles Guérin tells of Jean Genet's difficult stance as he struggles through our perverse masochist psychotic symptoms. If they have an ordinary character, it is because they are hardly distinguishable from straightforward delinquency itself. Alongside François Regnault, you may envision Dante's hell, the sad plunge into murky, nauseating water. I quote, "They are there for eternity, which characterizes the psychotic, melancholic, but also sadness in general, for which they are punished, for which they punish themselves incessantly." Delirium with Gérard Bachmann is a dream of eternity, from where the perspective is restoration. No work of art will ever be declared dead, naturally dead, even reduced to a miserable fragment, shard or rag. It will be called a work of art. Left to the vagaries of the symbolic, says Slavoj, interpretation is the endless process to discover a secret behind a secret. Psychoanalysis is not hermeneutic, especially not a deep one. It deals with a subject contemporary to the rise of the modern real, which emerges when meaning is evacuated from reality. The artist on the cover is Leonid Sokov. The urinating endeavor of Lenin, of the bear, writes letters on the sand. The letters are CCCP, which stands for SSR, meaning Union of Soviet and Socialist